cell phone charger back there if you need one for 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Did you get out and enjoy this nice weather today?
Well, yeah, now.
Now, all right. Better late than never. Better late than never.
Yes. Weather is it's beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy it while it lasts. You know, Chicagoland area does not give you many of these days.
Yeah, I know. Those it's been pretty hot out, you know.
Oh yeah, right. Hot, and then those crazy storms last week. And,
Sure did.
yeah, it's just now finally starting to be mild weather.
Right. Those are horrible.
They were bad. Yeah. How was it out here? Did you get a lot of tornadoes or anything like that, or?
Well, nothing really happened out here. Not like it did in Chicago.
Yeah. I live in Chicago actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was like two, like south side, southwest, but it's like the burbs just outside. Those are the ones that got hit the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was quite a few tornadoes.
Well, I know my brother, he lives in Chicago, southeast.
Okay.
And a tree was knocked down.
Oh yeah.
And knocked out his power, you know. And so he has a son with autism. And it was pretty hectic. You know, he had to call off work.
Sure, of course.
Because he couldn't leave his wife and his son there, you know.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. You know, he works from 2 to 10 p.m. So they would have been there in the dark, you know.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, that makes sense. You gotta call out.
It was almost 2 days before they were able to turn it back on. And some people had to wait longer than that.
Wow.
It's horrible. It was horrible. I don't know. I mean, I know it was a lot of people.
Yeah.
And things like that who lost power.
Right, but you'd think they'd be... Right, you live in a city, and you certainly pay for it to work, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, who is running medicine?
Right, but that's the problem, is ComEd, it's a private corporation.
Mm-hmm.
They're run for profit, not to provide power to people, to make money. That's their number one important thing. Right? So that's unfortunately the way they make money is by cutting costs on things like maintenance or multiple power lines when outages happen, stuff like that. And you know, I grew up in California, and so I don't know if you saw the news. I want to say maybe 7 years ago, it was called the Tubbs Fire, where there's these massive wildfires all over Northern California. And it turns out the reason why was because PG&E wasn't paying to maintain where the power lines were to clean the trees as often as they needed to.
Wow.
And some trees brought it down, and then it was costing hundreds of millions of dollars all over California, hundreds of millions of dollars of damage. But their buddies are the ones who make the laws, so they just don't do it again next time. Maybe we're going to charge you $1 million in fines, and that's it. People lose their houses. I mean, I had a lot of friends lose their parents, lost their houses, a lot of them. And just a little slap, that's all.
Yeah, that is, you know. Now they got the ComEd for these people who are on trial. You know, I think those was just the ones that, I don't know, but, you know, it's corrupt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's utilities. Utilities should not be privately owned. They should be for people. Let's look what happened in Flint, Michigan. They made the water private, and that's why it's poison. Because they said we don't want it costs less to it's not worth it to fix it, to replace the lead pipes that are poisoning people. It's not cost efficient.
Isn't it horrible?
Right? Right?
I mean,
yeah.
They don't even care about human beings.
No, because it's just the money. That's it. That's all it's been. And then if you look at that, and then look at food, look at air travel, look at, you know, the water that's coming to everywhere else, gas companies, all this stuff is the same thing. Internet. These are all things people need to live, but they're held on for profit. You got to squeeze the pennies out of it. That's what they're doing. And and insurance, medical care, right? I was just talking to a nurse about it. She's just like, oh yeah, we spend 60% of our time trying to get insurance companies to pay in the first place. How is that? It just makes no sense. just trying to squeeze money out of stuff instead of taking care of each other.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, it's I mean, it's horrible. Things the way things are going now.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just horrible. You know,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of other things too. You know, that's going on, and people see it. You know, because you experience it.
Yep.
And things are not going very well.
No. It's a lot of turmoil and tension and uncertainty in people, right? What's tomorrow going to look like? You know, we just got over this pandemic. The economy's coming back barely, but it's coming back. But it's like to a lot of people, it's still not done in that way. They're not back to normal. They're not back, but businesses want you to go right back to how it used to be.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
I just feel like it's the people who are in the pockets of these particular people, you know, and any way possible, if they can make more and more money, they'll do it.
That's it.
You know, even if it's hiring people who don't really have the expertise to do their job.
Oh gosh.
And it's affecting so many people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and not to mention, when you do get the people with the expertise to do something, they sure aren't paid well. They aren't given any real incentive to continue to do it hard, to do it to their full capacity. And they're certainly not given any support. Let's look at teachers, right? Teachers aren't getting the money they need. That's for sure. They're the most important people in society. They're building the future society.
Exactly.
But we're not investing in that, no. We try to get them to run on less money, not more. And it's not like the tax money's not there. It's just the people that control the tax money sure don't invest back in the people. Yeah.
You know, I had noticed. I was, a lot of people play the Illinois lottery.
Oh yeah.
And it used to come on on the TV where you could see the number. It doesn't do that anymore.
Oh really?
And it's something.
Well, it's probably just all apps now. Yeah, that's right. There used to be a show. I remember the Powerball would come on. If you were in a state that did Powerball, it would come on every Tuesday and Saturday.
Right. And even the news would, let you know what the number was.
Sure.
They don't do that anymore.
Not anymore. You got to find it yourself. That's I guess a new law. I guess so. Yeah, because you're right. It's like, what's the point of that? Why didn't they?
It's like they're doing something that's to benefit them, and not the people.
Right. Exactly. No, it's unfortunately everything's upside down that way. Everything is upside down that way.
It sure is.
You know, look, you got McDonald's, right? Like the food at McDonald's, they try and find a way to give you the cheapest possible meat that they can get away with. Spray chemicals on it so that it tastes like a hamburger. But that sure is. Because I've stopped eating there years ago, and the thing that made me do it is I took the meat patty, I took the patty, and I took a bite of it and said, that doesn't taste like beef. That doesn't taste like a hamburger that I'm gonna go grill up in the backyard. It doesn't. It's not meat. This is not for me to eat. You have to eat it as a whole thing, or it doesn't taste right. That's what I learned. I was like, this is not for human consumption. This is for profit. This is for money.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Or something. I'm just, a lot of people are really fed up with what's happening.
Oh, for sure.
And because it's so blatant,
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's. I think there's a point where it gets to where it's just so bad that people can't participate in it. Can't participate in it anymore, and they're just not going to. And it's like they won't have the option to, and the whole system kind of just collapses in on itself after that. And then rebuilds. The problem with that is it takes about 2,000 years for that collapse to happen.
Wow.
So we're just stuck in the, all right, well, we're ready for it any time, and it'll get there when it gets there. We just have this in between time now, I think. Yep. But who knows? Again, and it's like if you look at it, you look at people, and it's different. Like there's society. Like people say, oh, Chicago, right? Go careful going around Chicago. It's crazy. But I know you talk to your brother. He's a person in Chicago. I'm sure there's no issues, right? He's a fine person. And that's the thing. It's like there's two different types of people. There's two versions of the same city. There's the Chicago on the news, and then there's the Chicago of the people, and that's the world. Like doing this, I talk to people that are visiting America from Europe, visiting from our other countries, and they think they got to put on a bulletproof vest to walk around over here.
And you don't.
You don't.
Really
It's
don't.
like that's
Because,
the media.
right,
That's what you're
my
told.
family that still lives there don't have a problem, and I realized that it's just that there's certain people
Mm-hmm.
out there doing bad things,
Oh yeah.
but and they're doing a lot of it. It's not a lot of people,
Sure.
a lot over, but they're doing a lot of bad things. Whoever this
Oh, for sure.
groups of people are,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. I mean, I lived in Chicago for a while,
Mhm.
and I never came across, anything that,
Sure.
I heard about it, but it never, nothing really happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not everywhere, it's just they need to catch the people,
Sure.
who are doing the bad things.
Oh yeah. But get this. This is I learned this wild statistic recently. Okay, if you look at I think what they said something like 70% of all crime, maybe even 80, is committed for the purposes of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
These people that are dealing drugs, selling drugs, they're trying to sell to make money. They're trying to do that, and they fight. If they fight each other for turf and all that stuff, it's the area that they're using to make money. That's where they're selling and making money. That's the whole purpose of it. That equates in the billions to like how many billions of dollars is done, in drug dealing and all that stuff every year. $4 trillion is wage theft, overtime that people work that they don't get paid. That's actually the biggest amount of crime and money.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's right, but it's like, so who's the real criminal? Who's the real criminal?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the blue-collar crime.
Exactly, and that's it. It's the blue collar, the unpaid hours.
Exactly, and it's a lot of it.
And the tax fraud. All the people claiming all this stuff. The billionaires and millionaires that have enough money to be able to pay someone to hide it for them.
They do it.
Right? They're stealing a lot more. They're doing a lot more crime than anybody than a dealer on the street. Yeah, right. That's not the problem, frankly. But that's where it's. Are you going to the Walgreens here?
No, I'm going to the doctor. It's the doctor's office.
Ah, okay. Is it?
It's right there, in there. It's the doctor's office.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
you're here. Thanks for letting me rant for a bit. I really appreciate
That's okay.
it.
I needed it too. I needed it too.
All right. You have a great one.
You
Thanks.
too. Thank you.